All right, hey everyone. Albert here from Our Kilowatt Hours, which is a Substack newsletter where I discuss music, mostly of the indie, underground, punk kind of local variety, mostly things I have some personal connection or deep relationship with. You can check it out at ourkilowatthours.substack.com. Trying something a little different here with a video. We'll see how it goes. Let me know if this is something you enjoy, and I'll make more of them. I've been thinking a lot about fanzines and print media. I did my own fanzine in the early 1990s and 2000s, and comics and zines at this time were really formative to me. A comics title I don't really see or hear much about is this UK anthology series called Crisis from the late 1980s, early 1990s. I think it ran for about 60 issues. There are resources on the web that do a great job with the play-by-play about the publication history of the mag, so I don't feel the need to go too far into that. In short, the UK publishing group Fleetway, which is related to the 2080 franchise of Judge Dredd and so forth, saw a niche for a more adult-oriented imprint, and this is their attempt at it. Just some personal history. I used to go to these monthly comic conventions at a Holiday Inn near O'Hare Airport in Chicago in the mid to late 1980s. And I would dig through the bargain bins, the 50-cent dollar boxes, where you'd find all kinds of weird small press independent stuff. This is the era where the funny animal trend was kind of big. Eastman and Laird had just created Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which caused a great stir. I remember the huge format of the first issues, and dealers would have them hanging on display for just huge prices. There were also all kinds of silly but self-aware parodies and knockoffs. Radioactive adolescent black belt hamsters is something that I've had to pull out of my brain, but I remember pretty distinctly. Dark Horse had an all-funny animal anthology called Critters. Usagi Yojimbo was big. Dave Sim's Cerebus, the Aardvark, was also a minor success. Anyway, I came across 2 issues of Crisis looking for kind of sillier stuff, and it just blew my mind. It was really arty, abstract, just really vibrant in style, just completely different from anything I had seen. It had essays about art, political commentary, and kind of this UK street and subcultural element, punks, skinheads, ravers, reggae. There's a notorious standalone series that was outgrowth of the imprint that I never checked out, and maybe I'll try to track it down. The title was Skin, and the main character was a teenage skinhead with a short limb congenital deformity related to a thalidomide. I remember the subject matter was so controversial that Crisis was forced to pull it when the printers refused to print it. And then it appeared a couple years later on Kevin Eastman's Tundra Publishing. So this is the same Kevin Eastman that created TMNT. A big highlight of Crisis was this series, Third World War, which you can see here. That was created by Pat Mills, which kind of became its own thing. Really cool story here, pitting this group of kind of anarchist eco-punks against the global Illuminati-like business and political conspiracy. Interesting tidbit. This is probably my first exposure to the Mau Mau Rebellion and concept of Afrikaner fascism. Comics are educational, right? Also note, it's a story with female punks of color as the main protagonists. I remember the letter section challenging whether the male creators had the privilege or skill to tell the story. There's sort of themes of anti-colonialism, anti-global corporatism at the forefront. And this isn't Twitter or Instagram. It's a comic magazine from 1989. So pretty cool. Anyway, of the 2 or 3 issues I got at the time, I read them over and over. I could never find it again. It was sort of this extinguished British title with not much distribution in the US originally, I imagine. Then this being kind of pre-internet days, I had no idea how to get them. You sort of fast forward 15 years later, Mimi and I were walking through Sydney, Australia. We happened on this cool shop that I don't think exists any longer. It was this combination barbershop and record and comic store. I was kind of casually flipping through the boxes and happened on this huge cache of Crisis issues. And I ended up buying all of them. It's like 40, 50 issues. The time to buy them is when you see them, as they say. Now with eBay and so forth, you can snap up some issues yourself and see what they're all about. Third World War was collected in trade paperback, and so is Skin, so you can probably find those pretty easily. And stay tuned to this channel. I mean, I got a few boxes of other interesting fanzines and things and can tell a few stories. So stay tuned. I'll be back with more. Hope you enjoyed.